Hello guys, this is Motion Design School and this is a short tutorial about how to use our Super Liquid script. Now let's create a simple animation like this. It just eats easings like this. Good. And draw some liquid parts. And one more. Change its color. Great. Select your moving object first, then liquids, and press Generate. And that's it! That would take us a lot of time if we did it manually. Let's undo this and play with these settings. For example, I will change the frame skipping to 1 and I will press Generate. So that, as you can see, the number of particles increased. That means that they are being generated at each frame. Now let's dive inside and understand how it works. And as you can see, there are 2 or 3 and so on liquids were generated at one frame. So why does it work this way? It depends on speed threshold parameter. So if I change it to 100 for example, and press Generate, and as you can see now 5 liquid parts were generated at each frame. But I highly recommend you to use the 1 value for this parameter, because we don't need any particles to be generated at slow speed. And we have prepared for you another cool thing. Custom liquids. For example, I have prepared this animation down with trim path, and let's see what our script can do with it. Okay, that looks good, but let's play with these settings in the Effects control panel. So now let's change the velocity to 0, particle life to 4, amplitude to 0, and noise also decreased to 0. So that it looks better now, as it doesn't have so random look. So I recommend you to use these settings when you work with custom liquids that have animation inside. Okay, I hope it's clear, but let's play with effect controls a little bit more. So velocity is responsible for particle speed, and velocity random I hope is clear as well. And you can change the position of your trail using position XY parameter. You can also change the rotation and add some randomness by using transform random or rotation random parameters. So basically the transform group is responsible for transform properties of the whole trail. Now let's play with particle group, and the first parameter is live. It determines how long your particles will be on the screen. Just play around with it to understand how it works. You can also change the size of your particles and so on. And the most interesting part is physics. By default, particles have a sinus wave motion path, and using these parameters you can change their motion path. So here you can play around with amplitude, frequency, and decay. You can also add some extra wiggle animation to your particles by using the parameters of noise group. Here you can also change the random seed to change the random look of your particles. Now let's talk about horizontal and vertical radio buttons. If you want the particles to be generated along object width, select horizontal. But if you want them to be generated along object height, press vertical. But we can also create liquid trails to the static objects, which are not moving at all. And the most amazing thing is extra effects. They will give your liquid trails a real frame-by-frame look. So as you can see, when this option is checked, displacement and extra groups were automatically created in Effect Controls panel. So using displacement group, you can add some extra distortion to your objects and liquids. And we have a couple important settings in extra group. Liquify will create more liquid look, and posterize will give your animation real frame-by-frame look by skipping some frames. So that's all, guys, and as you can see, this script is pretty easy in use, so just get it! See you!